It was just, and I love what you just said, Lynn. All of this is happening by itself. There really is no doer. So we have like agency to a point, but for the most part, it's one son waking up, one being. And I love the courage and the kindness that this group has for each other. That's everything. We're walking each other home, and nobody ever said awakening is easy because it's not. Because our ego doesn't think it's easy. To a spirit, it's fine. But I just want to thank you. And I'm with my grandson who's now trying to beat up my dog. So I will go.
Thanks, Sharon. All right, Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
Thankful Thursday, family. Ah, I spent the last 20 minutes looking for my phone. It was in my hand one moment and then it wasn't. Um, so a thankful Thursday to you, Wellington. I love that name. Wellington and Regis and Karen and Sally and Lynn and Deb and Mickey and Dove and Lori and Sharon and Gloria and Zulma. Yeah. Thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. So the question, who wants to talk about pain and suffering and strife and worry and fear and loneliness and jealousy and who's up for that this morning? Show hands? No? No? Are you, Wellington? Are you really? All right. If you're up for that, right on. Then you might as well open the mic and go ahead because that's not where I'm hoping to go. You're here, take the mic. Seriously, because not my intention, not my intention. I won't say it won't happen somewhere along the way. Because the course does remind me that that if I want if I'm going to help those who suffer, I must speak their language. So that's what the course says. I didn't make that one up. I love that. If I'm going to be a savior, I have to know what salvation is. I have to recognize that salvation is not a theory. It's not theoretical. Ah, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful day. Regis, I saw your background, your earlier background, and I was going to extend a happy holiday to you and everyone. Happy holiday, everyone. Happy holy day, happy whole day. Um, he had what we traditionally consider Christmas decorations, but I can do that all year long. I love the lights. My mother we used to love the lights, and there's still some houses that I see that still have, they're outside of their homes, still have lights, and I absolutely love that. I do, I do, I do, I do. Keeps me in smiles. So, I forgot what I was going to what see Spirit's in charge. I'm not. Spirit is in charge. I forgot specifically what I had in mind to share about today. So, I'm going to start with a story. Uh Last Saturday, I took Lovable. Oh, Lovable and I, we went to Virginia. Those who knew, my dog Lovable is my doggy, Wellington. You'll get to meet him if you haven't already. He's a beautiful Jack Russell mix that found me walking down the street one day in June of 2023. He was 10 pounds and 1 ounce when he found me. The whole skin. No, does it spinal cage and spinal column and rib cage thing. And now he's overweight, 20.6. The veterinarian is fussing at me. Regis says that he has gone from rags to riches, and and that's the story about Lovable. You'll get to meet him because I'm sure at some point he's going to come up here and tell me he wants attention. Anyway, Lovable and I went to Virginia last Friday. It was supposed to be Thursday, but I couldn't get it together. Thank you, Regis. I like that. Thank you. Um, it was supposed to be Thursday, but the way my plans and me and time, we have this thing. Time and I have a relationship that is so unique. I love it. I'm accepting divine healing daily. Those are the initials for ADHD. I'm accepting divine healing daily, and they say that those with that are diagnosed with those with that condition, and it is a condition, and I'm so glad I don't get to keep it all the time. But those with ADHD have what they call time blindness. And I read it somewhere else. It's referred to as time optimism because we always think there's more of it. There's always more time. There's always more time. Anyway, Lovell and I went to Virginia. We had a great time. He was so well behaved that he was invited to come back again. that was impressive for me because I have a niece who was like so, things were just so, and she was welcome to have him come back. So that's a good thing. Y'all should be very proud of Lovable. They even told me I can come back too. Invited him and told me I can come back too. All right. So anyway, so on Saturday I took Lovable for a walk and went to the park and had a great time out there. And I decided to order some takeout. So I go to, and I would get home and this, that, and the other. And for the next couple of days, I found myself looking for something I knew had been in the car. I had this thermos. It's a steel thermos for Lovable. They don't even sell it in the U.S. anymore. But it's a steel thermos, and it has detachable cups at the bottom, detachable bowls, steel bowls, and it has a little place for his doggy bags and all that kind of stuff. That there was a purse, which didn't have anything of urgency in it. My ID was I had that across my as a crossbody, so I had my ID and I had my keys and that kind of stuff. Um, and a phone charger, that a quite pricey phone charger, I might add, that it does exactly what it has its own connections attached to it, and you plug it right in, and to charge the charger, it actually has a plug, and you plug it into the wall. Um, and gone. And I was telling in my circles, telling the story about how I left the car door unlocked. I went to go pick up the food. And when I went to pick up the food, I left the car door unlocked. Lovable was in the back seat and on his seatbelt, and 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 someone. This is my story. That someone, opened my car door. It must have been in the parking lot, watching cars, and took that and the purse and the charger. And this was my story from all day Sunday until yesterday evening, when lo and behold, there it all was. What I didn't remember is that when I went to Virginia, I went to go see Pat Metheny. I don't know if you're into jazz, but I went to go see Pat Metheny. Awesome. If you don't know Pat Metheny, check him out. Went to a jazz concert and I bought paraphernalia, a little bag, and the bag is black. It has Pat Metheny written on the front of it, but basically the bag is black. And I had put everything in that bag, but that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for the tumbler and the handbag and last night I just started laughing. But here's the thing about the story. But before that, initially I let myself go into how dare someone go into my car. Then I let that go. I let that go quickly, actually. I went into me, being there I go again, and left the door unlocked, and that's how the house got robbed before, and taking myself through all this stuff and all that, and all that, and then this damned ADHD in my this is all I went through all of that, and then I stopped all of that, and I went into such a gratitude that what was taken, or what I thought was taken, was a tumbler, a purse that had no essentials in it, a charger that I could repurchase if I wanted to spend that kind of money. But my doggie was still in the back seat. Lovable was still there. I went into such a gratitude. Those who I was in I participate in the ACIM group on Wednesday mornings, and this is the story. I was telling this whole story yesterday about the gratitude, how grateful I was. And I mean, I forgot all about the other thing. I went online, I ordered I'm getting ready to send it all back, by the way. Some of it just arrived between 4 and 8 this morning. I'm getting hot, people. All that pretty red I have when it's coming right off. I'm hot. Um, uh, and, and, uh, just how grateful I was that my doggie, my sometimes very annoying doggie, my sweet little doggie, was still laying right there. And he's not the type of dog that's going to go at someone unless they come at me. Clearly, he stops and he looks at people and he gives you a chance to pass and all that. He's not going to walk right up to you unless I say it's okay. Um, But so if they were taking things out of my car, he's, all right, you're not bothering my mother feeder, Wellington mother feeder. I'm his MFer. Um, yeah. Uh, so you're not bothering my MFer, so everything is good. And but the gratitude. So when I found it last night, I just laughed. I just laughed because I believe it, it may have turned up anyway. Of course, at some point it would have turned up anyhow. But it was my gratitude that made that whole thing worth it. My lesson, A, well, actually it's B, but A was to stop criticizing myself, which I did second. First, I was criticizing in my mind the thief, the person who took what was mine. And but I remember I did in my as I was working toward gratitude, I was remembering that it's only mine until it's not. When the house got robbed years ago, twice in 2 weeks. Strange, it was a strange story. When the house got robbed twice, I had, there were certain things that I, had valued highly and were irreplaceable. And I came to understand this is where the course helps me. It comes when it comes to tangible stuff. That sounds you'd have to hear my whole story, but those of you who know. But when it comes to tangible stuff, that's where the course is very helpful to me. And the tangibles are important. And the reason why, I see you, you're tangible. What I see with my physical eye is tangible. Everything I'm seeing with this physical eye is a tangible thing. So the tangibles are important to me. But I have this attachment to my possessions. But what I've come to understand, as the course says, that nothing survives its purpose. And I first grasped that in whole, watching my mother as she was going through her um, final hours, days, months, moments. Nothing survives its purpose. And it's only mine until it's not. It wasn't always mine to begin with. At one point it was something in the store that had no meaning to me until I gave it meaning. And once I gave it meaning, I thought that I identified with the thing. But then you come to a place where you realize that it really has no meaning at all except the meaning that I give it. So once I was able to let it go and let it go and let it go, I became grateful for what really had the most meaning to me, and that was that little doggy. And then I found the stuff. It was right there all the time. I love the lessons. I absolutely love the lessons. Let's go into a little bit of the lessons. Let's see if I have any slides to share. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Nothing that hasn't been it's not our regular stuff. I'm going for the regular stuff for the moment because I'm going to do it for Wellington because he's not here on a regular basis. So Wellington, today to me, for me, you are special. How about that? And I've seen you before. But today's this day you're choosing to stay. So thank you. Mind your mind. We should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. That's ultimately what it comes down to realize that there was nothing wrong. There was never anything wrong. There's never anything wrong. Because we're not going to talk about all that fear. All that stuff I was just talking about was exactly what I said I wasn't going to talk about. The whole fear thing, the blaming, the judging, and all that stuff. We should daily train our thoughts to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. Oh, by the way, Wellington, this segment of time is called A Course in Miracles Meets Science of Mind and Other Metaphysical Teachings. And I talk about anybody, everybody who oh, look at all this stuff that's come up on my screen strangely. What the world? I don't know if you're seeing it the way I'm seeing it, but wait, that looked weird to me. Did you see just one slide or did you see a bunch of stuff on the screen? One slide or a bunch of stuff?
Just one slide. Just one.
Oh, you saw one slide. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One
'Cause I
slide.
saw a whole bunch of stuff going on. Okay. Perfect. Then I'll put that one slide back on the screen. Thank you. Love your accent. Where are you from, Wellington?
And from Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, yo hablo español, so I can, yeah, we can work our way a little bit through a few
No,
words here and there.
he's actually Portuguese.
Portugués,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but Portugués and Español have a lot of
It's very similar.
similarities.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
very
so there are
similar.
words
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I had to have a conversation. I had a Portuguese teacher one time, and when I was going to Temple University, and and she was Portuguese, and she didn't speak English. I mean, it was crazy, and we managed to get through the class. We managed to get through the class. I was a pseudo interpreter for
Oh, that's nice.
for information I knew nothing about in the first. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. Um, I don't know if I could have done that today, but anyhow, so that's that. So I'm going back to the slide. I'm still seeing a whole bunch of stuff on my screen. I don't know why, but it's okay. A Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind and other metaphysical teachings. Um, and we talk about anyone and everyone and anything and everything to the best of our ability. That says March 19th, because I never did change it. And back to minding your mind. We should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think, because to learn how to think is to learn how to live. And that is by Ernest Holmes. And Ernest Holmes is the founder of religious science, aka also known as science of mind and spirit. Um, yeah. So anyway, we naturally become master over all life when we can understand and master the process of thinking. Christian D. Larson, who was one of Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes read Christian D. Larson's book, The Ideal Made Real, and it changed his direction in terms of how he taught. Joe Goldsmith, the wonderful uh, guide of the infinite way, teaches keep the word of God alive in your mind, in your thought, and in your experience. The Course says that the habit of engaging with God, the habit of engaging with God is easy if we actively refuse to let our mind slip away. Keep the word of God alive, alive, alive. And finally, this is a course in mind training. All learning involves attention and study at some level. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And from Emmett Fox, you must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is. Remember what I asked the question earlier? Do you want to talk pain and misery and strife and worry and fear and all that stuff? Then feel free to focus on that, and you're guaranteed to have it. You're guaranteed to have it, because what we focus on expands. The Course says, do only that. The Course asks the question, what for? What for? What purpose? What is the purpose of what you're thinking? If I'm thinking about something that's critical or judgmental or some complaining thing, then I'm bound to feel bad about it. And the problem is that, the illusion is that I'm blaming you for it. You walked on my side of the street. And who are you to walk on my side of the street? You don't have a right to do that. I didn't give you permission to walk on my side of the street. And then I want to blame you for the upset of the story that I'm making up, the pain that I'm causing myself. Just like I was blaming the thief who didn't steal anything in the first place. All right. So you must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is. The rule is to think about God. And let's be clear, God is not something out there. It's not something out there. Well, it is, but it's first right here. We're taught that God is omnipresent. I believe it. I feel it. I know it. God is omnipresent, everywhere present. There is no spot where God is not. Joe Goldsmith, in one of his books, he has a chapter titled "No and." There's no such thing as God and. Even as the Course talks about, God walking beside me and all that. No, there's nothing walking beside me. It's written that way for our ego mind to understand, to get a grasp, to get a picture. But the Course also says, as it says in the Bible, that God literally is all in all. Period. So that's you, that's me, that's the so-called thief, that's the dog, that's it's the tumbler, it's all of it. So this is why you must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is, because the trouble, as the song goes, trouble don't last always. Trouble don't last always. Those are all conditions, and conditions come and conditions go. In the Bible, it's written 727 times. It came to pass. It didn't come to stay. It came to pass. The rule is to think about God. If you are thinking about your difficulty, you are not thinking about God. Ernest Holmes, in his book, This Thing Called You, has one simple statement: God has no problems. That's it. God has no problems. And that's why the course tells us in workbook lesson 80 to look at whatever it is, so that you can realize that the problem has already been solved, because there was never a problem in the first place. It was my thinking, me putting an obstacle in the way, me putting a block in the way, which is why the course says that our task is not to try to, to try to find love, or no, my task is to remove the blocks that are keeping me from seeing what I really am. What? Not who, but what I really am, that I am spirit, that I am exactly what God is. Now, they say it's arrogant to say that I am God, but I can say it because I can say you are God too. So it has to be that way. If God is all there is, it's presenting in this name called Zulma. It's presenting in this thing called computer. It's presenting in that doggone tumbler and the so-called thief. And what's funny about that is, as I'm telling this, I actually started in my mind when I had an image of the thief, right? I can even tell you what he had on. I can tell you it was a guy. We, we, we make up, we are so creative, but we miscreate very well too. It's because we're always creating. The mind doesn't stop. It's never going to stop. It can't stop. It can't stop. It's God. It's continual. It's eternal. It's wonderful. If you're thinking about your difficulty, you're not thinking about God. To be continually glancing over your shoulder in order to see how matters are progressing is fatal, because it is thinking of the trouble, and you must think of God and nothing else. Nothing else. Let's see if I have another slide that's worth. Yep, here it is. Because every response we make, everyone, is determined by what we think we are. Do I think I'm a victim? Do I think that that you're a body? Do I think I'm a body? Do I think that something is wrong? Do I think there's something, a reason to be afraid? If I come up with a reason, which is really an excuse, to be afraid, I'm saying that God is making a mistake, that life isn't the way it's supposed to be. And the workbook lesson, of course, teaches, let all things be exactly as they are. Just let it be. Just let it be. If we don't criticize about it, don't complain about it, and don't judge it, we're going to be all right. And that's been given as an assignment, spend the next 24 hours without complaining about anything. And when I was first told that, I said, 24 hours? Okay, there was complaint number one right there. I started right from the door. Give it a try to not criticize, complain, or judge yourself or anything that you think is outside of you for 24 hours. How about an hour? How about a half hour? Give it a shot. See if it works for you. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. The question is always, what do we think we are? The course tells us that it's not you who's always tossed and blown, the real you, the capital Y you. It's not the actual you that's tossed and blown by anything and everything. As I said, that everything is temporary. It all just comes to pass. If we get caught up in the condition, it's like sitting and watching a television show, and you get, yesterday, I got hooked on soap operas a little over a year ago. The General Hospital. I got hooked on General Hospital. And yesterday, the day before, were the most exciting episode. I have to laugh. because I was in tears, literally in tears, because Marco died, and oh my God, and so, he got stabbed, and the young boy shot the agent. It was just a mess. I was all in it. I became a part of it, and this is what we do. This is what we do. We look at all of these life stories. I'm going to take the screen down if I can figure out. Yeah. We look at all these life stories, we put ourselves into it. We put ourselves into it. We make ourselves part of it. And then we want to blame the story. It's not the story. It's what I think about the story. It's what I feel about the story. It's what I choose to believe about the story. And that applies. And that's where our misery comes from. Because I have decided that I'm only human, and therefore I'm only human, and therefore I have to be in misery. I have to be in pain. No, I have to be in love. I have to be in love. Somebody sent me something. I have to find it. All right. So, Beverly Hutchings, from the Miracle Distribution Center, um, she wrote uh, an article called "What You're Entitled to," and and she asks, she says, have you ever felt locked in by your circumstances? Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's a job you don't like. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by the activities of raising a family and juggling work and home life, or maybe you're being confronted by a chronic illness. How do we live like the spiritual beings we are when we feel so locked into the world? And that's a good question. Do I spend my time criticizing, complaining, judging? Do I do that? Am I giving fuel to the fire? The article continues. Some well-meaning, in fact, you know what? I'm going to put it on the screen so you can see it. And this is how it was sent to me. So, this is exactly how it was sent to me. And so I'm going to share it that way. All right. She says, some well-meaning course students would simply say the world is not real, and that's that, which I think is a mistake. Zulma thinks it's a mistake. I can't, as I always say by example, let me slap you. And you tell me that wasn't real. Yeah, like you're gonna be so holy and so spiritual. You're just gonna, oh, that wasn't real. This pain that I'm feeling isn't real. This sting on my face isn't real. And you're just gonna walk away. Oh, heck no. Heck no. The next thing that's going to happen is something else that somebody's going to say is not real, that you're going to try to hit me back. Or I'm going to run. We're getting into it. And you know it, and I know it. So all that trying to be, oh, it's not real. Not real means it's not permanent. That's what real means. It's just not permanent. It's a moment and that's it. Anything after that is my thoughts about it. And that's what's not real. The illusion is me living in the past. Gloria mentioned that earlier about the whole thing about living in the past. If I'm living in anything back there, attempting to still make that real, to make that back there the reason for what's happening now, if I'm doing that, I am causing myself pain. Now, granted, I need to look at it. Go to therapy or whatever it takes. Find a spiritual life practitioner, someone to walk you through that, because you don't want to hold on to what's not there, because it's one thing to say, oh, well, that happened years ago. Well, then why is that running your life? Why is that running your life? Why is that running my life? Let me speak in present. Let me speak in first person. Why am I letting something from the past run my life? I was just reading in an astrology book about how family, the family ties and all that, and how I'm imitating things from the past, and I'm like, wow, that was a good one. That was a real good one, because some of the things that I'm imitating are not things that I want in my life. But the truth is, I must want them because I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So, if I don't want that, then stop that. Stop that. Okay. Some well-meaning course students would simply say the world is not real, and that's that. Your body's not real and sickness is an illusion. One student said recently, I don't want to focus on illusions and my friend's sickness. Wait a minute. I don't want to focus on illusions and my friend's sickness is an illusion, but that approach doesn't seem to help my friend who is sick. And she's absolutely right. That approach, frankly, is not helpful. When we deny something that we believe in, we only reinforce the thing we deny. Wow. Plus, the fact that we're experiencing the thing that we are trying to deny only makes us feel more guilty. In this way, we use the course, whose purpose is to lead us out of guilt, as a tool to reinforce our guilt. It would help us and the person going through the sickness far more to focus on the truth instead of making the problem real by our adamant denial of it. As the supplement to the course, the Song of Prayer says, there are decisions to make here in the world, and they must be made whether they are illusions or not. Interesting, interesting, interesting. And in the course's text, it says, the best defense is not to attack another position, but to protect the truth. So, when faced by the things of the world that seem to imprison us, we must inject the solution into the circumstance and not simply deny its existence. That's key. We have to inject the solution. Okay, so workbook lesson 79 says, let me look at this so-called problem, but basically, I'm paraphrasing big time. But let me look at this so-called problem so I can solve it, basically. And then workbook lesson 80 says, let me realize it's already solved. There is no problem. There is no problem. I am I have to inject the solution and focus on the solution, because if I'm focusing on the problem, I can't get out of the problem. Oh, so and so is sick, and uh, and there's nothing. Oh, you go into all of that, like as if God is sickness. God is not sickness. It's a physical life situation. It's a physical life circumstance. It's a physical life condition. And it may be a painful one. Painful, what do they call terminal, and whatever. I'm not denying that, because that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Can't deny it. Earlier before, when I first came on, I heard someone talking about physical pain and whatnot. And and how wonderfully it was handled when she talked about it. How the response that she got was exactly what she needed, and it helped her calm down. But we can't deny this stuff. We have to protect the truth. The truth is that regardless of what my body is going through, regardless of what your body is going through, regardless of what's in the news, regardless of the fact that we're at war, that they're talking about physical wars going on, truth is I am spirit, and that's still my reality. I'm still in a state of grace. I am always in a state of grace. And that I means you too. It's all in the state of grace, because it's still all God. We think it's supposed to be a certain way. We think that things here's keyword, that we think that things should be a certain way. And therein lies the problem, because now we're bucking up against the truth because we're too busy in our shoulds. We're shooting on it. It should be this way. This should not be happening. I shouldn't feel this way. This thing shouldn't be happening. And I'm making myself more and more. I'm taking myself into the misery. Remember that? The misery, the pain, the worry, the fear. I'm taking myself further into it. Inject the solution into the circumstance and not simply deny its existence. True denial, from the course's perspective, states that nothing that is not of God has any power over you. So what? what is it? What is it that's not of God? What's not of God is what's not true. What's not true is what's not of God. Thus, the limitations of the world, whether they be financial, job problems, or family, cannot rob you of your joy or happiness, which in the end is our real ultimate goal in pursuing any of our worldly things unless we let them. Let me go back. Let me take the parentheses out of there. The limitations of the world, whether they be financial, job problems, or family, cannot rob you of your joy or happiness unless we let them. It's not saying that I shouldn't want more of that I shouldn't want success, that I shouldn't want uh, okay, I set an intention to be a speaker, to be a speaker, a paid speaker, um, in different places along the way. And I set the intention. I set the intention on Monday, just early last week. Actually, I had set the intention some time ago, but I spoke it out loud on Monday. But just the other day, I received an email asking me to speak at a center in North Jersey in August. And while I was telling the group that I was with at the time, I was in a class, while I was telling them that, someone else said, I'm going to set you up to come out here to where I am, and in Delaware. And I thought, and I said, it's funny because I immediately started. I went into my human self. I went into my limited belief thought system. Don't you want to hear one of my talks first before she didn't. At 11 o'clock that evening, there was an email, rather in my text, an invitation to come speak out there, setting the intention. But and there's nothing wrong with that. We are created to create. Let me take this down for a minute. We are created to create. We are created to be our best selves. We are created to, as it's written in the Bible, to have life and that more abundantly. Oh my. And to think that there's something wrong with wanting more, with wanting a bigger this, a better that, more money in my pocket. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely how can there be anything wrong with it? It's here. It's one of the tangibles. It's one of the tangibles. Money, by the way, is a bartering tool. It's a bartering tool. For me to get this, for me to have the computer, whatever, for me to have anything, the clothes on my back, I had to have money to do it. And if I want something that's, really nice and elegant, whatever have you, then I have to spend more money, which means I have to do what it takes to acquire that. But yet, it's not real. It, no, you don't. You, that's not what the course teaches. Yes, it is. The course is teaching us. I love it. Regis brings it up. Workbook lesson 101. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. And 102 goes right along with it. That my will with God, my will is right along there, right along with it. And that's a paraphrase, but it's like that. My will is right along with it. I want for me what God wants for me, because to try to want anything different is to try to be against myself. Because remember, God is all there is. God is omnipresent. So God is right here. I am one with it. It is one with me. I am in it. Mm, mm. I live in God. I move in God. I have my being. I am, because God is. There is no separation. There is no something walking next to me and something, over there. No. It's every breath that I take is God. My breath is God. It's written that way, isn't it? Job 33. Can you help me with that one, brother? Find it for me. Job 33 and 4, I believe it is. Um, I don't feel like doing that right now. But I'm gonna. I believe it's Job 33 and 4, where strong book. In the book of Job, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. Let's see. Uh, breath of the Almighty. I believe that's how it's written. Yeah. In Job chapter 33, verse 4, the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Life. God is life. It's not it's not separate and apart from my desire to have speaking engagements, my desire to have a greater income, my desire to want more, to live better, to be happy, my desire. I will tell you the story about when my desire for I had asked for a companion. I wanted a male companion, and that's when I found lovable. I didn't specify I wanted a two-legged companion. I got a four-legged one. But hey, everybody knows my relationship with lovable. I mean, okay, we sleep together. And on his Facebook page, it says that he's in a domestic relationship. Now that's the extent of it. We're celibacy. Let me be clear, as far as lovable goes. But nevertheless, So are you going to tell me that little dog he's not real? Are you going to tell me that the joy that I feel that him wagging his little tail when I mention the word TREAT, when you going to tell me that's not real? Uh-uh. That's part of the perfect happiness. We are in this life, in this physical, in this tangible world. We're here because we're supposed to be here. And because we're supposed to be here, we have to remember that it all matters if to the extent that we make it matter. You have the right to want more. You have the right to live better. You have the right to desire intimacy. You have the right. I'm basically repeating. I've had this conversation with a friend, with a friend who I'm just saying it out loud because it is the truth. Because if you came to me and you said, "Well, listen, I met somebody," and am I supposed to tell you, "Oh, no, that's a special relationship, and you shouldn't get involved with that person because that's a physical." Come on, come on. Yeah, and you're gonna look at me and think, "Well, that wasn't truly helpful." If you're going by the course, I'm here to be truly helpful. Now there may come things like now if you said to me, well, yeah, I met this person and he or she, slaps me around and I got this black eye. Now, okay, now we're going to have a conversation. There is going to be a conversation because first I want to know, do you like that? Because that might be your thing, it may not be my thing. But I need to know, are you enjoying that? How's that working for you? And if it's not, then there's other things to talk about. But for me to tell you that, oh, that's a special relationship and you shouldn't, there goes shitting on you. You shouldn't, your focus should be on God. Well, that is God. That is God. Everything and everyone, everywhere, always is God. And to deny that, back to what Beverly Hutchins was saying, to deny that, of course, refers to as an unworthy form of denial. That's like denying the body. It's an unworthy form of denial. I'm not spending my time wasting my time talking about what's not real. Listen, this tumbler, my water tumbler, may not mean a thing to you, but it means a lot to me. It's real to me, this one. And it doesn't mean as much to me as one that was gifted to me some time ago. But still, it wasn't gifted to you. So it may not have any meaning for you. It has meaning from the person who gifted it to me. It has meaning to me. But tell me it's not real. Wait a minute. I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to let a little bit of it. Mm. You saw that, right? You saw the water roll. Tell me that wasn't real. Oh, come on. Tell me my hand's not wet. Come on. You see, see the point? Now we laughing, we're talking about water. But if I'm talking about money, if I'm talking about sex, if I'm talking about, a bigger this, a better that, or the desire, listen, we are created in the image of God. That means we are created in the likeness of God. We are like God. We are that. We live in it, move in it, we are that. And we're not and to say that we don't deserve, or we're not worthy, or that's not real. That's limiting God. Is it possible to limit God? It's not. It's not. It's not. Let me finish with what Beverly had to say really quickly, and then I'll ease my way on out of here. I had no real plan today, so I'm glad that this she writes, a mind focused on God and his good pleasure to give you the kingdom is the only thing you are really entitled to. A mind focused on God. Now back to the quote by Emmett Fox. Every thought should be on God. The focus should be on God. And if you're focusing on God, you're focusing on yourself, capital S, self, and you're taking the best possible care you can of yourself with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your actions, the best possible, the best possible. Recognizing, what am I? Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. What do you think you are? What do you think you are? And what you want to be, here we go. This is me wanting to be I want to be a paid speaker. What you want to be is what you think you are. Well, it was shown to me that very evening. I made the statement, and I was given an opportunity to speak. Just like that. So it says what you want to be. Then this is from the course, strictly from the course. What you want to be must determine every response you make. If I want to be a paid speaker, I have to picture that. I have to put myself in that position. Now there are those that say there's somewhere in the course it says something about things not having to be planned, but somewhere else in the course it says that things do have to be planned. It says to begin each day planning how you want your day to begin. Begin each day planning how you want things to be. What kind of day do I want? And the motivational speakers, they talk about goal setting. In the spiritual teachings, they talk about setting intentions. This is necessary. Otherwise, you're just willy-nilly, whichever way the wind blows. That's the way. Oh, well, let's see. What will I do today? Let me see. I'm not even going to think about it. Whatever happens to come, well, at best, I'm just going to breathe because I can't help that. But, whatever. No, that's not how we live our lives. That's not how we live. You think that's funny, Reed? You got something to say about that? But it's important. It's necessary that we plan our day. Let me find that. It starts out, begin each day. Let me put that in quotation marks. Begin. I know it is. I use that. I use that for myself. Begin each day. It's part of the book that I'm writing. Begin each day with time devoted. This is in review 4 of the course. If you like, I'll bring it up. Begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind to learn what each idea, what you will review that day, can offer you in freedom and in peace. Open your mind and clear it of all thoughts that would deceive, and let this thought alone engage it fully and remove the rest. My mind holds only what I think with God. And the reason why that's true, and if you want, I'll put it in the chat. So if you want to know where that came from. And the reason why that's true is that God's will for me is perfect happiness. Hello, back to that workbook lesson 101. Begin each, if I just sit around Can you imagine? Lynn says, and Zulma Gonzalez, the mic is all yours. And I come on. Say absolutely nothing. Granted, I didn't have a plan per se. I didn't write down what I did have in mind what I just shared that was shared with me. I did have that in mind, but plan because I tell you what, the fact that my phone disappeared became a priority. And the funny thing is, I asked Alexa to call my phone, and she couldn't, it wouldn't ring because I set my phone a certain time to go into do not disturb mode because it's prior to coming here. So my phone wasn't going to ring anyway. So so I'm walking around and I already have too much stuff everywhere. And I'm looking and I'm like, where the heck is that doggone phone? It's got to be somewhere. And then I thought, well, I might as well just leave it alone and I'll look for it when I'm finished. No, 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 no. I want my phone. It was like that. I had that thing going on in my head. And you couldn't convince me it wasn't real either. All you want. You can say it wasn't important. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm happy to have it right here, right now. So no, I didn't have a plan per se, but the fact that I turned on the computer, came on ACIM Gather, I was already moving in the direction of being here to to do what I'm doing right now. Um, so I did want to just look at without reading into it. Workbook lesson 101 is, as I said, God's will for me is perfect happiness. Workbook lesson 102 is, I share God's will for happiness with me. I share God's will for happiness with me. 103, God, being love, is also happiness. 104, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Now that's check it out. I seek. Oh, I'm not just sitting here. I seek. See, we hmm, we keep teaching. I'm not going to be part of that. People keep teaching. I need do nothing. That's a doggone lie. That's a doggone lie. Because why is it asking me to begin each day? Why is it asking me to plan? Why am I being asked to do lessons? Why am I being asked to study? Why? Why? Why did it say I seek? These are doing things. Those are action things. I need do nothing does not mean I can just sit back and and God's going to take care of it. Well, that thing, God helps those who love themselves. That's what, helping yourself is God working through you as you demonstrating God. I demonstrate God. That's my intention. That's my goal. That's become my purpose. I'm writing a purpose statement, by the way. It's one of my class. My purpose statement is to demonstrate God, to demonstrate love, to demonstrate joy, so that and guide you so that you can do the same, so to radiate that so that you can feel it too. That's a doing thing. Now, I'm not like fighting myself and I'm planning on how I'm going to love you, or I'm planning on how how to make you feel, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Because I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it with you. I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it with you. That's the goodness of it. I'm not here to impress. In fact, I wrote this. I'm here to express my best, not impress your quest. That's a Zulma. You can write it down. I think you read that. I'm here to express my best, not impress your quest. Because what you think of me isn't my business. What you think of me is not my business. And if you like me, thank you. I appreciate that. And if you don't, thank you. I appreciate that. Because when it comes down to it, my worth is not established by what you think. Good thing. My worth is not established by that. For that woman to give me, to decide that she's going to have me as a speaker, and she has not heard a single one of my talks. No, not one. Like, wow. on blind faith. But isn't that what faith is? Faith is the evidence of things not seen. It's the evidence of things not seen. And we have to be careful, because when we're misplacing our creative, when we're miscreating, fear is also the evidence of things not seen. Fear and worry and all those other things. It's the evidence of things not seen. I'm making up a story about something that's not even there. But what is here right now is us having this moment, this joyful moment, remembering that God's will for us is perfect happiness. We seek what belongs, but only seek what belongs to us in truth, whatever that is. God's peace and joy are mine. And let me be still and listen to the truth. And in that stillness, Lynn, I am giving you the mic. Thanks for being here, family. Wellington, hope to see you again. Lynn, you got it. Hi, Steve.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Let me be still and listen to the truth. I love it. And I can understand. I would have asked you to come and speak at my place too. In fact, you do speak at my place, and I never heard of you before. So I love you, dear.